Assalamu alaikum dear students. So this class is for the intermediate level and this class is on transformation of sentences. You had a good number of classes on transformation of sentences. Some structures were left behind and we are going to complete those structures within next 2 or 3 classes. So today, the topic on which we are going to discuss is degree of comparison. That is how we will transfer from the sentences having the degree of comparison and how we will transform the sentences from one degree to another one. So we know that degree of comparison, it is basically related to adjectives. That is, there are 3 degrees which reflect the 3 conditions of a particular adjective. For example, if I say good, better, best. So John is a good boy. John is better than George. John is the best boy in the class. Let's concentrate on the difference. That is, John is a good boy. This is here we say that there is no particular comparison. The adjective is attributed only about John. So it is in positive degree. But John is better than George, so there is a comparison between 2 persons, that is John and George. And here we are using the comparative form, that is better. So this one is positive degree, this one is comparative degree, this one is superlative degree. So in the positive degree we find that the adjective is attributed only upon a particular subject and there is no comparison. But here in the comparative degree we find that there is a comparison between 2 subjects, that is John and George. But here there is a comparison, but it is among more than 2 subjects, that is John is the best boy in the class. So John is compared to all the other boys in the classroom. So this is the superlative degree. Now what we are going to discuss today is, at first we will see how we will turn superlative degrees into positive degrees. superlative to positive. Now let's focus on very simple sentence at first, then we will go for the complex one and some complicated sentences where their degree has been used. So let's see at first. If I say John is the best boy in the class. So here we find that it is John who is the best boy and he is compared to the other boys in the class, and it is found that he is the best one and there is no one other than him. So when John, the subject is absolutely best, or the qualification is absolutely above all the others in a group, then we use no other when we are turning it into positive degree from the superlative one. So we are using no other because there is actually no one other than John who is as so good as him. So we are using the word no other. So let's see how we are going to change it. So at first I am using the word no other. Then comes the common noun, that is no other boy. No other boy in the class. This total extension comes together. No other boy in the class. Of course it will be, the verb will be is, that is it is in singular number. So when we are using no other, then we are using the singular verb is. Then comes the most important part, that is what adjective we are going to use. And here the adjective will be, at first we will use so, then the positive form of this superlative degree. So good, better, best. What is the positive form of this superlative degree? Degree, best. It is good. And what is the comparative form? It is better. So good as. Then comes the subject. So from here we find that subject is at the very beginning position, but the subject comes at the end of the sentence when I am turning it into positive. And I am using this no other when John is absolutely the best boy in the class, that is comparing John, comparing with John, there is none other who has that much quality as John. So in this case, when the absolute quality has been attributed, we are using the word no other. And of course when I am using the word no other, it is referring to a single subject, that is not a single boy is so good as John. So we are using the singular form of this verb, that is we are using is. But if there are many good boys in the classroom and John is one of them, among them John is the one, how will we change it into positive degree from the superlative ones if there we encounter such questions at our examination. Okay, let's see. So if we encounter this phrase, one of the, so there are some best boys in the class and John is one among them. How will we change this superlative degree into the positive ones? The technique is, in the previous sentence we changed, we used no other. Now we are going to use very few. Very few. Then comes this extension. Very few boys in the class are so good as John. The particular question is why I am using very few, then boys, and the most important thing to concentrate upon is are. Why we used is, that is singular form of the verb, singular form of the main verb at the previous example. Here we see we are using are, that is the plural form of the main verb. Why? The reason behind using this plural form is, look at this adjective phrase, very few boys. Very few boys. The subject is plural, not singular. And why I am using very few boys, not no other boy? The reason is here the quality has not been attributed absolutely upon John. Rather, he is considered as one of the boys who has got the quality to be the best one. Okay, so when there is plural number, then okay, fine. We are saying that we will use very few, and here we are using are. But when it is singular number, that is the quality is absolutely attributed upon a singular subject, then we are using no other. So let's see some other examples, and then we will see some complex sentences through which we apply these same structural rules. Don Bradman is the greatest batsman of all time. No other batsman of any time is so great as Tom. So no other batsman of any time is so great as Don Bradman. Here we see that Don Bradman, he is considered to be the greatest one, and there is no one as great as him. That's why I am using the phrase no other. Then comes batsman of any time, not all time. I will explain this change a little bit later. Then comes my main verb, that is, then so plus adjective plus s, then comes the subject, Don Bradman. Now why all has been turned into any? When I am using the word all, that is, Dhaka is the greatest city of among all the cities in the country. So no other city in the country is so great as Dhaka. But when I am saying this all time, here this all time is a particular phrase and this is not contextually correct here. So either there will be no all, or if we have to use this adjective of quantity, then it will be turned into any when we are transforming a superlative degree into a positive one. These things indeed seems to be very much easy for us when we are studying, because even in our books we find in abundance of the examples which are given into simple sentences, and up to now I have also given some examples which are in simple form, simple structure. But if the degree of comparison comes in a complex sentence structure, then what will we do? Let's see. It is considered that Cox's is the largest sea beach in the world. So this is actually a complex sentence, and here we see that it is considered this is the subordinate clause, while my principal clause is Cox's is the largest sea beach in the world. And the principal part here contains the particular adjective that is largest. And we have to turn it into what? Into positive degree. Now the subordinate part, it is in passive voice. What will we do? Our task is we should not bother about what is in the subordinate part, or what structure has been used other than the degree of comparison in this sentence, because we are not asked to change the degree of comparison, any other thing rather than degree of comparison here. We have been asked to change the degree, structure of the degree, transform the degree of comparison here, and we will concentrate upon that. So what about the other part? The other part will be remain as it is in the when we are answering this question. Like it is considered, this part will be unchanged when I am writing the answer. It is considered that then no other sea beach in the world is so large as Bazaar. It is considered that no other sea beach in the world is so large as Bazar. Here we have to remember that the extension part usually comes after this phrase no other, and the full extension part. Often the common mistakes are no other sea beach is so large as Cox's Bazar in the world. Okay, fine. No other sea beach is so large as Cox's Bazar the world. No other sea beach the world is so large as Cox's Bazar in. These are some common mistakes we encounter when you people answer the questions, and we encounter these answers when we check your answer scripts. It should not be. So rather than sending it at the last one, it's better that after this no other phrase, you will bring this whole extension part, that is no other sea beach in the world, and then we are writing is, then so large as Cox's Bazar. So we have learned how we will handle extensions. We have learned how we will handle the complex sentence. Let's see another example of the complex sentence where we have to change the degree of comparison. When we ate the dish, we found it is the most delicious one we have ever eaten. So, when I am changing it into positive degree, we will keep it as it is when we ate the dish. Then we found no other dish we ever have ever eaten was so tasty as it. When we ate the dish, we found no other dish we have ever eaten was so tasty as it. So we are keeping up to this part, that is we found, up to this one totally unchanged. We are concentrating on the particular portion where we find the particular superlative degree. We are not bothering about the other parts. That is the technique, and that is the particular place where students used to become confused, that what will I do when I am encountering a so complicated a structure. That doesn't matter how much complicated structure you are encountering, because you have to concentrate upon the particular adjective, upon the particular degree of comparison, and that is your only task. And keep in mind that often we do not bother about the verbs as well. That is, here we are writing have. We at the question also we had the word have. We have had the verb have. Why have is unchanged? Because subject we, have is related to this we. So we have ever eaten. That will be unchanged. Here we are using was. Why was? Because the dish and no other. No other. So it is in the past tense. Here also we see that the verb is in past tense. So we just have to keep in mind about the tense. We just have to keep in mind about the particular adjective, and of course the structure is so plus adjective plus as. This is the particular structure which we have to apply when we are turning superlative degrees into positive ones. So we have finished the superlative degrees from the positive. We have finished superlative from positive structure. Now we are going to see about comparative to positive. There are two kinds of comparative structures. In some structures we find that a particular subject has been compared with some other ones, with a group of other ones, and in another structure we find that two particular things have been compared. So, in the first one, a single one has been compared with a group, and the second one, a single one has been compared with another single one. So let's concentrate on the both kinds of structures. That is, At the first place, Dhaka is larger than any other city in Bangladesh. Here, Dhaka has been compared with any other city in this country. In that case, no other, we will use no other. Cities in Bangladesh, no other city in Bangladesh is so large as Dhaka. No other city in Bangladesh is so large as Dhaka. We are saying that Dhaka is larger than any other city in Bangladesh. The positive degree will be no other city in Bangladesh is so large as Dhaka. That is, the quality of being large has been attributed absolutely upon Dhaka. So, we are saying that we are using the structure of no other here. And of course, in the previous structures, that is when we are using the structure of from superlative to positive, we have seen that in case of no other, the verb will be singular. Here also we see that in case of no other, the verb is the singular one. Now, let's concentrate upon another kind of structure, that is so Chittagong is larger than most other cities in Bangladesh. Here we see that okay fine, Chittagong is larger, but it is larger than most other cities. It is not the largest city, or it is larger. It is not larger than any other city in our country. Here we will use the very few structure. That is, the structure will be very few cities in Bangladesh are so large as Chittagong. Here the main verb will be in plural number because we are using the phrase very few. Very few is actually referring to a plural number, that is very few cities. Okay, fine, Chittagong is very large, but there are cities which are so large as Chittagong. Previous question we used a phrase of all time, but in answer we use of any time. Why? Okay, that has been explained. That is when someone has asked, that is in the previous question we have asked that Bradman is the greatest batsman of all time. But when we are using the structure no other, we have to use the word any, not all. Okay, we cannot use that is no other batsman of any time, not all time. All doesn't match with the phrase no other. That's why I have explained it already. Okay, fine, no problem. Let's concentrate on this structure, that is very few cities in Bangladesh are so large as Chittagong. Here we see that when we are saying that very few cities in Bangladesh, actually it is a plural number. So here we are using the verb are, and then we are saying that so large as Chittagong. So Chittagong is large, but Chittagong is not largest like Dhaka. It is one of the largest. So when we see the phrase one of the, or when we see in the comparative degree that Chittagong is larger than most other or many other, then we will use the phrase very few in the positive degree. So when we see the phrase one of the in the superlative degree, we will use very few in the positive degree. When we see many other or most other in the comparative degree, we will use very few in the positive degree. Now this is a comparison. These were the comparisons when I am saying when I am making the comparison between a particular subject and a group of others. Now if the comparison has been made between two particular subjects, like Rohim is a better student than Purim. Rohim is a better student than Purim. When we are using this, that is Rohim is better student than Purim, here the comparison has been made between two particular persons, Rohim and Purim. So we will just reverse the order. Purim will come at first. Purim is not so good a student as Rohim. I am just reversing the order, that is the person who will be at the last, there I am saying I am bringing him at the first, and then of course the verb will be singular, and then not so good. That is, here the structure will be, if it is in affirmative sentence, that is, here we say that it is an affirmative sentence. Rohim is a better student than Karim. It is an affirmative sentence. Then the structure will be negative, that Karim is not so good a student as Rohim. In Bangla we can say Rohim Korimer chaite bhalo chhatro, orthat Karim Rohimer moto eto bhalo chhatro na. So when we are making comparisons between two entities who are actually not equal as them, then we will attribute this particular structure. Now, if we see a reverse structure, that is, if I say Karim is less good than Rohim as a student. Karim is less good than Rohim as a student. Here, the comparison has been made, but the comparison is a kind of negative comparison. That is, Karim is less good than Rohim. So, up to now, we have said that he is better. Now, we are saying that no, he is actually worse. How will we change it in positivity? Here we don't need to reverse the order, rather the order of the subject will be same, that is, Karim will be in its place, Rohim will be in his place. Rohim is, but it will be turned into negative. Rohim is not as so good as Rohim is not so good as, Karim is not so good as Rohim as a student. Here we can see that when Karim is less good than Rohim, then we are turning it into negative. But when it was in negative, we turned it into affirmative. That is actually the technique. Now, there are other things. That is, if I say a negative sentence, that is, Karim is not better than Rohim, then what will be? This is also a comparison. Karim is not better than Rohim. This is another comparison. That is, Karim is not better than Rohim. And what will I do in this case? Here our comparison will be Karim is as good as Rahim. Up to now we have used so plus adjective plus as. But here I am using as plus adjective plus as because here they are actually equal. Karim is as good as Rahim. He is not better, but sorry, the comparison will be reversed. Rahim is as good as Karim. So Karim and Rahim has the same word. That's why I am using this comparison, that is as plus adjective plus as. This is the only case when I am using the adjective structure as plus adjective plus as. The reason behind it is now they are equal. They are not inferior to one another, or it is not like someone is better, another one is worse. Rather, now they are equal. So when they will be equal, we may use as plus adjective plus as. But in other cases, we will use so plus adjective plus as. So today, what we have learned, how we will turn two particular degrees into positive degrees. That is from superlative to positive and from comparative to positive. And in the next class, what we are going to do is we will learn from superlative to comparative, from positive to comparative, and then from superlative to comparative. So these structures we will learn in the next class. And up to then, be safe and keep us in your prayers. Thank you, everybody.